Greetings. Welcome to the New Ulm Library Board meeting. It's 4 p.m. on Thursday, October 13th, 2022. And I'm currently serving as chair, so I will call this meeting to order. We need to act to approve our agenda, which we received by email. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
A second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of approving the agenda signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, we have an agenda, and the first thing on our agenda is to introduce our new board member. April, can you take care of that?
Sure. We have a new board member with us today, Hope Fries. She is filling the unexpired term of Gabby Budensky.
Okay.
Welcome, Hope.
Great. Should we go around and introduce ourselves?
Sure.
All right.
I'll start.
All right.
My name's Carl Zeidler, and this is my second full term. I just began serving the first of the year, so I've got a couple years to go yet.
Great.
Welcome.
My name is Tintin Schwartz. I teach at the college, at Martin Luther College.
My name is Margaret Blomberg, and this is my third
I think so.
term. Yeah, I think I've been around for a while. I think is what I remember.
My name is Bernice Schmitz. I'm not sure how long I've been on the board.
You're the same as me.
Well, I'm Ruth Ann Webster. This is my first term, and I'm serving as president. So,
I'm Vince Bourgeau. I too have been on the board a long time, and I'm the vice chair.
Dustin Sauter, and this is first term.
Sarah Berger, and this is also my first term.
I'm April Idy. I'm the library director.
great. Everybody's here.
Nice to meet everybody.
All right. Thank you so much for agreeing to serve, Hope. Good. Next on the agenda is to elect a secretary-treasurer. The duties are mostly signing things and calling the roll, because the assistant library director actually types up the minutes, right?
Right. And Megan has been calling the roll for
Okay.
voting as well. So I think
Right.
this would be just filling in if she needed to be absent.
All right. We need a volunteer, folks. It's just a 1-year term.
We're the vice chair.
The
I'm on the
vice chair. We need a secretary.
I'm the closest.
You are the closest. You're the closest.
There's really nothing to do.
You're,
Yeah, I'm fine. I would be happy to help out.
there
and,
we go.
Thank you.
Bravo.
No pressure.
Bravo. No pressure whatsoever. I think I'll take nominations from the floor. Nominations. Hearing none, I think everyone in favor of electing our volunteer. Aye. All right, you're in. Good. Thank you, Dustin. Good. Now we'll approve the minutes from the September 8th Library Board meeting. Everyone's had them in advance, so I will accept a motion to approve the minutes.
So move.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, I got a lot of seconds. That's great. Any questions or comments?
Lots of corrections to be made.
No.
Yes. Yes. There is, as the people who attended last month know, Ruth Ann was not here, and I, your humble vice chair, presided over the meeting. And yet, in the meeting minutes, it says that you opened the meeting and you adjourned the meeting.
Oh,
And
no.
that you were present. So we need that
dear.
corrected. So
Sorry.
we need all mention
Sorry.
of Ruth Ann to be stricken in the minutes, except in the absent listing. And you could also
Okay.
say she was vacationing in
I
Europe.
was vacationing. I was in the Czech Republic. Yes, it was
But
a
other
lot
than
of fun.
that,
Other than that,
everything
I'm
was-
sorry
everything
I
was
missed
fine.
that.
Yep.
All right. Well, as amended, got it?
Yep.
As amended, all in favor of approving the minutes? Signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you for your diligence, VP.
No, nobody else caught that? Come on, did anybody else read the minutes?
Good. All right, we've got the financial report. April, do you just want to give a little summary of that?
Sure. We are 75.89% through the year, and our budget is approximately 61.25% expended. Some bills that we paid during September included $287 to Hvac, sheet metal for repair to the HVAC unit on the children's roof, $99.45 to Riverview Sanitation for our monthly trash service, and $17,186.04 to TDS for the second half of our 2022 membership fees. So our membership fees for the year are complete. Just a note on the Hvac repair to the HVAC unit on the children's roof. That did go to City Council for approval of a new unit. So we'll be getting a new unit for that roof as well as the two that are already on order for the roof over the nonfiction area. The ordering for this children's roof unit is 20 weeks out, so it won't be completed until next spring.
Okay.
But we'll need it because it's the air conditioning part that's out before next summer.
So we as the board don't have to do anything about that, right?
Nope, that's coming out of the city's 290 fund, so it's not out of the library's budget.
Ian, here the treasurer, you almost had something to do.
That's
Not
right.
quite.
Yes. Yes.
And then I continued on the reporting that Vince requested from month to month, that our budget is approximately $140,000 underspent. Some of this is due to large bills that will be paid later in the year, including the carpet replacement that we are working on in the children's room and furniture replacements for our meeting room. And we also, just note that we didn't have an assistant library director for the first 5 months of the year, so we didn't have any salary expenses for that position.
Just a question, maybe I should know this, but the furniture in the meeting room, which meeting room do you mean?
The library's basement meeting room.
In the basement?
Yep, so that would be the tables that we use for some programs and then chairs for the
Okay,
meeting room.
good. All right, good. Thank you. Thank you. Any other questions or comments about the financial report?
Was the parking lot all done being ripped up and replaced?
No.
No. Oh, that's good.
They are nearing the completion of the section that they're on. We're expecting them to start filling that in sometime in the next week or so and then paving over it. But they're going to have to continue digging further to the north, just not a whole lot further, but kind of in front of the garage there, because the leak is also further up the line. So they're,
Now, is that going to cut off the return box then, or?
I don't think so.
Okay.
It'll be a tight turnaround, but we'll make sure there's space in front of the garage for people to do that.
And then are we paying for that, or?
No, that's the PUC.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes, annoying, but it'll be done.
Yeah.
Good. Any other questions or comments about the money situation? Otherwise, we'll move on to the librarian's report about the activities and the statistics for the last month.
Right, for September each year is National Library Card Sign-Up Month. So Megan created a contest for our patrons that included a bingo card that allowed them to enter for prizes. The Friends of the Library had donated the money for those prizes. That was successful. I don't know, Megan, if you want to say a little bit about the numbers you had, if you know those off the top of your head. Sorry to put you on the spot.
We had close to 150 entries, so that was good. From children and a lot of positive.
Great. 150 people. I think that's impressive. Good work.
Some of the entries.
Oh, dear. Okay. Well, great.
Thank you for putting that together.
Yes.
Bring that. Library card.
Great. Good. Thank you.
We've been preparing for the migration to our new integrated library system, Evergreen, which will be March of next year. Preparation has included an inventory of our collection. Our goal is to complete that by November 1st. Megan has been leading that and getting us organized with tracking our inventory and finding time for staff to go out and scan the collection and then clean up the reports that we're running afterward to make sure our records are as clean as possible as we look to move that data over.
Great.
And then we were closed on September 30th to allow staff to attend a training day. We covered a number of safety topics in the morning, including ALICE, or active shooter training, CPR, AED, and first aid refreshers. And then we also did emergency operations call center training. In the event of a large-scale city or county emergency, the library staff would be called on to back up the dispatch to answer just informational questions from the public.
Great. And everyone was able to attend?
Yes, we had all staff members there.
Great. Okay. Any questions, comments? Otherwise, we'll move on to programming. We have the programming calendar for October in front of us.
Sure, I'll just point out a couple programs that are upcoming. Excuse me, on October 24th, which is Monday evening at 6:30, we have author Frank Weber coming. He does forensic work and has written a true crime novel. So he is going to talk about his work and his writing, and then there'll also be a chance for maybe one or two people to participate in a lie detector test. We've had a lot of interest in that, so we're expecting a good audience. And then we are starting on October 26th, Wednesday evening from 6 to 7:30 p.m., a knit-along class, and we'll start with a washcloth, and then the following 2 weeks we'll have other projects. Registration is required for that, so you can visit our website, newulmlibrary.org, to register, and that'll be led by our library aide, Leah Bodie, who is an avid crafter.
Right. Good, good.
So is that her idea then to try that out?
Her and Leroy together. She's led knitting classes for us in the past and a number of other craft classes, and it's always amazing when she shows us the projects she's working on.
Great. Any other comments or about the upcoming events at the library? It's always fun. Always fun. All right, hearing none, we'll move on to our work here. We have a resolution. This is the resolution number 2022-24. It's the second reading and adoption, approving the 2023 library fees and fees schedule. The City of New Ulm annually revises its schedule of fees, and as a part of this, the library is required to update its fees and fines schedule. The library director proposes the attached schedule for the 2023 fees, which includes the following changes. 1, remove the $5 per day overdue fines from the Library of Things and Wi-Fi spots, and remove the note about the maximum Wi-Fi hotspot fine. 2, exclude magazines from the $5 processing fee for lost and damaged items. Changes proposed by the library board members will be incorporated after October's second reading and adoption. The schedule will then be submitted to the Finance Department for final approval by the City Council. Any discussion or comments about this? Well, hearing none. Hearing none, let's, I'll call the roll. Secretary, you want to call the roll?
I think we need a motion.
Oh, you got to have a motion for, jeez.
Can I just ask the
Sure, yeah.
rationale behind
Oh, good,
this section?
yeah.
So the magazine one is pretty simple. The $5 processing fee is usually to cover the cost of us having to cover a new book and the staff time that it takes to do that, or tape and other supplies. When a magazine is lost or damaged, we don't have a way to replace that, so we would just charge for the cost of the item itself and then no processing fee. And then removing the $5 per day overdue fine for the Library of Things and Wi-Fi hotspots. We went fine-free on all of our other items at the beginning of 2020. And so it's a little confusing for our patrons when we say that we're fine-free except for these two things. It's a little bit harder for them to keep track of as they check different items out. And we currently don't have any revenue from fines budgeted in our budget, and so we're not expecting to make any revenue. The city and city council aren't expecting us to make revenue for fines. So I think just as a courtesy to our patrons and to simplify things, it would make sense to remove the overdue fees. I think we originally thought it would encourage people to bring them back on time, but I don't think it makes as big of a difference as we thought. And with the Wi-Fi hotspots, we turn off the service once they're overdue until they come back. So that encourages people with those.
And there's still a Wi-Fi hotspot replacement fee if they don't ever bring it back, right?
Yes, if the item is damaged or lost completely, then they would have the replacement of the item.
So you had mentioned that, okay, we currently don't have a budget line for the revenue for the fines, but there are still some things that will have some fines associated with it. If any of those should occur, where does that get tucked away into the budget?
Some of those things like the library card replacement, just those incidentals do kind of go
Okay.
into that. But those are so infrequent
Right.
in such a small amount that it's
Okay.
not worth counting for the revenue for it.
To include a replacement fee for the Library of Things items?
They have a replacement cost in each record that's different.
Okay.
Because the cost of like a STEM kit
Right.
versus a keyboard is quite different.
Does that need to be defined in here, though? Because we have in here, the definition, or we have it defined that a Wi-Fi hotspot replacement fee. Do we need to include the statement, some sort of a statement of replacement fee of library things as per whatever?
Or
I don't
cost
know
of
if it's
item.
needed or not. I'm just asking the question. Just because
Probably should.
we define the hotspot if that's one of our items, and now we're taking away that overdue fee. And if we still have the library of things, but we've taken away that overdue fee, there should still be a replacement fee.
Right.
Because it's a fine, right? If somebody doesn't, they say, oh, my kid brought it into the bathtub, it's destroyed, you're going to want to charge me the $12 to replace the item or whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know how you would do that. I'm not sure.
Right. And I mean, we have that same
With a
replacement fee for books and movies and things, and that's not
Defined
no
in here.
longer
Yep.
included in here, but I see your point.
Yeah. Something to chew on. I don't know if
Right.
it's needed or not.
In our circulation policy, it does talk about the replacement of lost or damaged items, so
So
that
maybe
might
it's
cover
defined
us
there. Maybe that's fine then.
And it's not really a fee.
Right.
It's a replacement cost.
But
and
then
it's in-
then would a Wi-Fi hotspot replacement be considered a fine? Because it's a replacement cost.
Right, that could
Sorry.
be, that could maybe be moved.
Well, what are we going to do here?
You can chew on it and
All
decide.
right.
I'm okay with it the way it is, but we
Okay.
might want to think about how we're actually defining those things, if they're actually fines, or if it's not really a fine, but a replacement cost. It might be two separate things. I don't know.
Right. And we could consider general language in here about
Yeah.
lost and damaged items, just overall.
Yep.
There's a cost that's recorded in the library's record of that
Yep.
item.
Yeah, maybe
Right.
that's the best way to do it rather than, because all of a sudden then you go down that path, right? Where there's so many things that are defined and then we get too much. And we just want to say that if it's lost, then you have to replace it. And there is a fee to that and follow this process or whatever. I don't know.
Maybe we should just rename this, the title of this section, instead of fines, since we don't have fines anymore, just replacement costs. And that would kind of take some of the connotation away from that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Could you just delete it from the Wi-Fi spots and assume that it's incorporated with all the other items that we require replacement reimbursement for? I mean, this is a fee and fine schedule. So I don't know that replacement cost language, is that necessarily needs to be a part of this particular schedule.
So remove the Wi-Fi hotspot replacement cost.
Just take that language out.
Yeah.
I mean, you have language elsewhere for all
If-
the other items.
Yeah.
I think just assume that it's wrapped in with that as other items.
Let's just, I think I'm summarizing this. I think what you told us is that with regard to the Library of Things, there's a different policy that says if you break this and ruin it, you're going to have to pay the replacement cost.
And I believe that that's included in our hotspot policy as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, so, so if we have replacement costs someplace else, then I think what Carl's is suggesting is that we just take the Wi-Fi hotspot replacement out of this and assume that it's someplace else, so that this is just fees and not a replacement cost. Make sure the finance department is okay with that.
Okay.
I guess my question would be too, is that replacement cost, it's a replacement, it costs you $100 or it costs us $100 to replace that Wi-Fi.
Right.
So then it isn't a fine, because a fine would be, something that you're charging in addition as a punishment for not bringing it
Right.
back.
Right.
Right, so then it is not, I would agree with Carl that it maybe need to reevaluate how that is written.
Okay. So strike the Wi-Fi hotspot replacement line,
Right.
and then so then library card replacement fine.
Yes,
Because
fee.
that's a fine, because
Yeah.
you guys have to do the physical
Right.
labor
Right.
Okay.
for that, and that's why you're charging that money, right?
Yep,
Right.
right.
Same with the processing of the damaged materials. It's a fine because you're doing something,
Well, there you go.
right?
Just clarifying all the language, basically.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So then we would have the Wi-Fi hotspot replacement lines would be stricken. And then we'd have library card replacement fine,
Mm-hmm.
processing fine for lost or damaged materials, and then replacement DVD case fine.
Okay,
I think so.
Okay.
okay,
I will make those changes
All right.
and confirm them with the finance department.
good. With
All
the,
right, so then I will move that we approve the 2023 library fees and fines schedule with the amendments that we have just discussed.
do I have a second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Does our secretary have a list of the?
He does not.
He does not.
Let Megan do it.
Megan, give him the list. Pass the list. Listen, we got to get this guy warmed up and ready to go. He volunteered. He's going to have, he can do it.
It's
He
the
can
handwritten
do it.
side.
Nice, thank you.
Nice.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Sarah Berger,
Yes.
can I just do first names?
Yes, you
Is
Oh,
that
of course.
appropriate? Okay.
Yes,
We're
you
on an
can.
informal basis here.
Nice. Margaret,
Yes.
Vince,
Yes.
Gabby is not here. Dustin, yes. Bernice,
Yes.
Ting Ting,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes,
and Carl.
Yes.
Hope taking Gabby's place.
and Hope.
Yes.
Great.
Perfect. All right.
Passed. Thank you. Thank you. Good.
Back, I appreciate it.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for doing that. Okay, now we just get to bring money in. This is the best part. All right, we have resolution number 202225, which is accepting the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund grants for programs. Traverse des Sioux Library System awarded New Ulm Public Library with 2 Arts and Cultural Heritage grants in the amount of $800 for a one-man production of Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, and $150 for materials for 3 knitting classes led by library aide Leah Bodie.
I
Jo-
do have a correction here.
Okay.
The $150 is actually for the Words on Paper program.
Oh, okay.
Author Forrest Peterson is going to be offering a review of major historical events and a listing of events from the 1950s to 1970s that reflected and influenced society. And he is also going to be talking about memoir writing as a part of that. I got so excited about knitting that I put it here and in the friends donation.
Okay. Well, with that correction, I will take a motion to pass this resolution. Motion? Do I have a motion?
Motion.
A second?
I'll second.
Good, thank you. Motion and a second. Any further discussion?
We know who's doing the one-man production? We get like Patrick Stewart or somebody, or?
It's an actor and theater coach, Nate Plummer. So in the late 1800s, Charles Dickens did an American tour and read A Christmas Carol live. And so Nate Plummer does kind of a recreation of that and turns it into a bit of a one-man show.
Oh, great. Sounds like fun.
I
Sounds
do
like,
have a last minute question. So when we accept grants, are there strings attached? Or they're just,
With the Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund grants, these are pretty routine for us. We regularly request money, and this is through Traverse de Sioux, our regional library. So we do have to do an application for these, and then we do have to include the tagline about the grant in our advertising and the logo for the grant in our posters and things. And then we do a report at the end of the program.
which is pretty basic. Okay.
It's
Thank
more
you.
formalized than just people donating stuff to
Right.
the library,
Okay.
which we'll get to in the next
the
action
next
item.
one.
Okay.
Stay tuned. Yeah.
Okay, ready? Secretary, call the roll?
All right. Sarah?
Yes.
Dustin, yes. Vince?
Yes.
Ruth Ann?
Yes.
Bernice?
Yes.
Ting Ting?
Yes.
Margaret?
Yes.
Hope?
Yes.
And Carl?
Yes.
Passed. All right. Next resolution. This is our resolution number 202226, accepting the donations and memorials from July 1st to September 30th of 2022. And the list describes donations received from the library from July 1st to September 30th, 2022, and that includes general donations as well as memorials. And I can't seem to find them here.
It's on the next one. You
It's a
gotta
second link.
go out and it's a
I
second
have to go back.
attachment.
Oh, back. There it goes. All right. Here we go. We have, the donor is Michael and Gigi Portner of $150 in cash for DVDs. We've got the Kathleen Moe family, in memory of Kathleen Moe, $100 cash that is undesignated. We've got 2 items from the Friends of the Library, $500 cash, twice for, one is for the conference costs and one is for National Library Card Sign-Up Month. We've got a donation from Stephen Carroll Rangel for, in memory of Doris Crone for cash of $100 to buy adult books. And then Dean Lindquist has made a donation also in memory of his mother, Doris Crone, $150, and that's undesignated. We have a donation from Vicki Pizer of $10 cash, undesignated. And then the Women's Literary Club of New Ulm has donated $40.42 in cash, and that's undesignated. Ross Pollard has donated a book with a value of $10. It's adult books. And then Friends of the New Ulm Library have $6,000 in cash for self-checkout furniture and the courtesy phone relocation. And then here is the Friends of the New Ulm Library, $150 for the knitting program. And the total cash is $7,700.42, and then the physical item is $10. So the total of $7,710.42. Any questions or comments with regard to those donations?
I thought I could clarify the self-check furniture.
That's what I wanted to hear.
So this, if you've been in the library, you've seen the self-checkout location, and then the Holds pickup shelf is next to it, and it's kind of jutting out a little bit into the walkway, not a not ideal. There's not enough space on it. We often have to do an overflow cart that's even more in the walkway, and we just want to get it neatened up and easy for patrons to find their holds. So in order to do that, we'd like to keep it along that same wall, and right next to the door frame, there's a courtesy phone where people can dial local numbers if they need to. So we want to move that to the side of the service desk. There's wiring through the bottom of the service desk down to the server room. We just need an electrician to move it. And then we also want to buy a nice desk for the computer to sit for the self-check, and then 2 bays of shelving for the holds, so we can spread them out and have room, like in the summertime when we have a lot of holds, because a lot of people are reading. So I got a quote for the furniture and and the phone relocation, and asked the Friends to cover those 2 specific items.
Wonderful.
Could you share a little bit of what kind of organization is this? Friends of the New Ulm Library? I don't remember.
Sure.
Thank you.
The Friends is a 501c3 nonprofit organization, and their goal is to support the programs and services that the library offers. So they've given us money for continuing education, for furniture, programs, collections. They donate. We have a water cooler in the staff room, and they donate the water jugs for us each month when we order
So
them.
they've been giving like donations to the library consistently every year?
Yeah. And they meet about 4 to 5 times a year, just kind of depending. And then the bulk of their funding comes from donations and then from the book sale. And they are holding a book sale this year. They didn't for 2 years because of the pandemic. And so that'll be the first weekend in November. So they're gearing up for that now. And then they do charge a membership fee to be a friend to the library. And with that, you get like 2 newsletters a year, and then you get early access to the book sale.
Thank you. Thanks for that question. Good. And thank you to the Friends.
Yes, thank you.
Great. That's great. Any other comments or questions? Otherwise, I will take a motion to pass the resolution accepting the donations and memorials.
I also move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Secretary, call the roll.
Sarah,
Yes.
Dustin, yes. Vince,
Yes.
Ruth Ann,
Yes.
Bernice,
Yes.
Ting Ting,
Yes.
Margaret,
Yes.
Yes.
and Carl.
Yes.
Passed. Good. I'll get those signed. Other business, we have more discussion on the Wi-Fi hotspots?
Yes.
Okay.
The TDS did not receive the grant money for the additional long-term hotspots. They were considering using some of their fund balance to pay for a more limited number of hotspots for a year, but there was not wide support from the library directors on that. Although it's been a great program for our patrons, it has been hard to manage at the region-wide level with a lot of libraries having their own hotspots and the various circulation rules and things. It was just getting difficult. So but most library directors were not in favor of continuing the region-wide program. I wanted to get some direction from the library board about whether we wanted to add any more to our collection. It's been something that's come up a few times in the past. This long-term hotspot program has kind of reinvigorated interest in the hotspots with our patrons. We are finding it harder and harder each year to find enough DVDs for purchase for kids. A lot more is on streaming, Disney Plus. A lot of things aren't coming out on DVD anymore for us to be able to purchase. And so I think if we wanted to add a few hot spots, we could possibly do that from the AV line next year, since our budget has already been set. And then in future years, build it into our budget. It normally comes from the contractual maintenance line. I think we could start by adding 5 hot spots.
How many do we currently have?
We have 3 currently.
We have 3. And then we went up to how many?
Throughout the region, there was 500.
So we had access to a lot more.
Yes.
And they were our patrons using those?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
We would often find that our patrons were filling the gap with our ones that loaned for 1 week until they could get one of these 3-month long-term ones.
Okay. So it was being used on a regular basis?
Yes.
So is the finance department okay with sort of that fudging and shifting around, calling these hotspot purchase part of audiovisual?
I have not talked to the
Okay.
finance director about this yet. I wanted to float it and see
Okay.
if there was some direction from the board before I went further with the cost part
Well,
of it.
in other words, you think that we could use 5 more hotspots?
I do.
Okay.
And the other full-time librarian staff have talked about it in our meetings together, and we think that maybe we could look possibly at reconsidering our loan period for these two.
Okay.
Not 3 months. 8 hotspots will not work for that, but maybe 3 weeks like some of our other materials.
I think it's a good thing to look at with the fact that more things are going digital from a library perspective to allow that equilibrium. If people can't afford to have those hotspots, we're giving that opportunity for them to have access to those things then, to allow in it. If we were using them a lot over the summer or during that time that we had access to them, then I think our community needs them or would like to have them. So if we can figure out a way to do that, I think that would be wonderful.
Okay.
Is there an approximate cost
Yes.
for that?
So right now, our hotspots are $35 a month each. So it's $105 a month or $1,260 annually for the 3 that we have. If we added another 5, it would be $280 per month or $3,360 annually for 8 of them.
And you think we've got that money in the AV budget?
I do. We have AV money that we are looking at bringing a request to the board sometime before the end of the year, possibly to go towards overdrive, more overdrive materials because it's unspent. But we could possibly use some to start hotspots in the last couple months, additional hotspots in the last couple months of this year, plus a little bit to overdrive. The other thing too is because TDS is not using fund balance funds to cover the cost of these hotspots, it would also decrease our TDS fees. So it would be about a difference of $1,801.48. Now, in the past, that cataloging line has been really specific to what our fees are from TDS, and I don't know if these fees change, if we need to just adjust that per the finance department, or if we would just leave that in this budget, the 2023 budget year. I need to confirm that too.
Does anybody have any feelings against this? As I understand it, April would be bringing this back at our next meeting. But before she goes through the work of talking to finance and doing everything like that, she wants to get sort of a sense of the board. So if there's somebody who is going to be against it, we should know that. You know, we won't be taking action on that today. So.
Right, I'll do more research with the finance department and confirm costs and where things can come from in the budget, and then bring it back as a resolution.
Good. I think we have a plan. Any other business? Anything
I
else?
have 2 questions.
Sure.
In the past, I've missed a few meetings, so I don't remember. At one time, we were talking about those cubicles.
Yes.
So is this covered? Is there, or we approved that? I don't remember what happened.
We included it in our fund balance use with the 2023 budget.
Okay. So
I have not had any questions from city council or the finance director that showing any concern with it, but the city's overall budget won't be approved until December, so the official call on that won't
just
come
want to
until
know,
then.
where we are now. Yeah. Second thing, I don't know if this could be even from us, like just my experience of visiting other libraries. I noticed some of the libraries, they work with like local museums and they have those paths, including consider as like a library of thing that you can actually borrow like a 2-day path to a local library, not museum or zoo, you know. I thought that was a great idea. Again, it's the idea of like, you know, make more resources more accessible, available, accessible to other families who can't afford it. Like, do we have programs like that, or have you thought about this?
When I worked at the West Fargo Library before I came to this library, we had a program like that, and it was West Fargo, and Moorhead are kind of one metro area, and so it was for museums, and I think sometimes there were theater tickets that were included, and it was a community-wide program, kind of I think led by the libraries and in partnership with those organizations. So we could certainly look at pursuing something like that and putting some feelers out to see if people are interested. They were starting a program to do something like that with state park passes throughout the state of Minnesota, but they had very few libraries that they were selecting to partner with. I think the St. Peter Library might have been a pilot library for that. And I have not heard any more if that is still ongoing.
Yeah, I understand. You know, it's really some kind of collaboration between different organizations. So it's not just, you know, if we want to do it, we can do it. But I just thought I'd bring that idea up.
It's good community integration.
Exactly. Yeah.
Great. Good.
That could be certainly something that we look as we do our strategic plan as well.
Ah, yes. Right. Good.
With that statement and opening there, what's our strategic
there we
plan
go.
idea here? We started talking about that last time. Are we still working on trying to create meetings?
Yes, so
Okay.
my next step will be to schedule meetings with the committee. We did a little bit of brainstorming during our staff training day, and that was really cool, and I was really excited to hear some of the things that the staff were sharing. It's kind of been on the back burner as we've done some of these other projects with inventory and things. I would like to look at starting meetings in November, but I know that as we get the holidays, people are harder to nail down, so I guess I'll see how it goes if I get a lot of no's back for those dates.
Okay.
Anything else? Anybody else?
I have one more question, just as a library patron. How does the library collaborate with Martin Luther College's library? Because I've checked out a book from them, but through the library. How does that work? Like,
So they are actually a member library of the Traverse de Sioux Library. So your card, if you went up to the college, you could check out there with your card from the New Ulm Library, and there's students and faculty can do the same at our library. But also, if you requested an item from there to be picked up at New Ulm, it would go to the Mankato TDS office and then come back to us through the courier.
Just go up.
just go out. Good to know.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody else? Otherwise, we'll see you in November. Meeting adjourned. Boom.